Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
Hello and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Today I'm joined by somebody that's been on this podcast before. You're a mate of mine. I've missed you very much. So it's Jordan from Benefit Martial Arts. I've not changed, mate. We still go mental.
Yeah.
Now, dude, you've done amazing things since the last podcast, and I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
You literally said, and I love doers, on that last podcast, I want to do this, 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 and this. You had about 4 goals set. It seems like it's all come to fruition. It's all happened. Do you want to just go and just tell us how it all come to be? Because you run martial arts, karate with young people and older people now.
Yeah.
Was it always that way? Were you doing different sets of classes?
Yeah.
But the one thing you said is, I want my own space.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love loads of people with big dreams. And I've met so many people down the line. But a lot of the time, I would say a good 70-80%, it just doesn't get done.
Yeah.
People tell you these ideas and thoughts and they're shouting things down the phone to you and it's getting excited. But they're just, I'm nodding along. And then 2 years later, I'm like, what happened? Oh, I thought about doing da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
You just had a mission, man, and you've done it. So tell us what happened.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it was a mission. And that's kind of what it was. Like when I first, so the start of 2019, when we first started the martial arts, just started doing it in Ripley Leisure Centre, 2 students.
Literally?
Literally like 2 students. We did this like 4-week course thing, like promoted it, and then 2 people turned up, but to me it was just like 2 people, amazing, like it's better than none. Like obviously I wanted more, but I still gave them that class that was, going to be amazing. And there's still one of them now out of that 2 that's still with me now and is a junior leader, so he helps out with the little kids, nearly like on his route to the black belt, and his dad now does it and coaches with it, and he's getting for his black belt soon. So it's like from that one class,
That's just giving me goosebumps.
It's
literally
incredible.
was listening to that going,
Yeah.
wow.
So then obviously I've always wanted my own sort of dojo, my own place anyway. But I knew it was a massive goal. Not just kind of having your own place. It's you've got to fill it. You've got to obviously afford it as well.
How old that you knew you wanted it when you say you always wanted it? Is this sort of quite a young age?
I reckon so. Yeah. Because when I was at my old school, I'd see like videos with people with like mats down and like punch bags, and I thought that looks a bit better than just hard like leisure centre flooring.
And that shite lighting.
Yeah. And it was just a bit like and you rushed out because the badmintons are coming in next, and it just didn't feel like your place kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then when I came back from like travelling and I decided to set up my own martial arts school, good friend in Sheffield called Liam Richards, he's got his own place, he's like mats down, like amazing. And it was just like messaging on Instagram, and he's like, just come down, like see what it's about. So he literally just invited me down, did some training sessions there, and it was a bit like, wow, this is like amazing. I didn't feel like I belonged. I was a bit like, I've only got like 10 students, and he had like 400 and like a proper business, like staff and everything. And then that was kind of like, yeah, this is kind of, I want to make it happen now, and this is what I've always wanted. But yeah, it's been quite a while, to be fair, that I've always wanted it. And then now I'm kind of in control of that as being my own school. I just felt like, well, yeah, now you can make it happen.
Wow.
So then, literally 2 years, obviously we had COVID where we lost loads of members, back to online classes, doing Zoom. We lost nearly like 50% of our members, and obviously not just in terms of losing the members financially as well, like because it was a new business and we only started a year ago, didn't get any help from the government. It was really like tough, but we just, again, I had a mission. I was like, right, the members that we've got, we want to just support these through this tough time. So just doing like loads of classes. Online Zoom classes, extracurriculum classes, fitness sessions in the morning, just literally just go, look, we're going to give you everything we've got to get you through it, to help you, please stay with us as well. Some of the parents, like the kids didn't get on with the Zoom, but they just carried on paying because they just supported us, which is just like amazing. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. And then it was getting to a point where after COVID, this was sort of May time this year, that was just like growing again. We started getting more students back in. I was like, right, we're finally on it now. Ball started rolling. Started going up towards the 100 member mark, which I thought, like, that was a big goal of mine as well, to get to 100 members. I was like, sound. And then weirdly enough, the place that we're in now on Butterley Hill, that was an old charity shop next to the car wash. Used to always drive around anyway looking for venues, thinking, yeah, that'd be a cool place, and this was one of them. Always driving up and down it, thought that would be an amazing martial arts school, like the glass at the front, that'd be amazing.
Had you been in there as it was a charity shop?
Never, no. Never been in there, just always drove past it and just thought.
Half my living room's from there. I genuinely used to go there quite a bit, but again, I remember it was such a huge space, and I thought, this is a bit wasted.
Yeah.
It feels like a bit of a wasted space, because you had a little clothing rack. It did have furniture and so on, so that makes sense to have a bit more space, but it didn't seem busy, it didn't seem thriving, and I just thought it could be optimized. There could be something else going on here. I've, like I said, never been in there before, just always drove past it, thought that'd be cool. And then it was about mid-June that I drove past it and it was empty. I was just like, it was just one of them things like, let's have a quick look like you usually do, and it was just empty, like there's nothing in there, there's no sign up saying it was sale, it was just you could just tell it was empty. So I was like, wow, like it's empty. But then it was a bit like, okay, carry on driving day. Didn't really like think anything of it. Like a little bit in my mind was thinking like, it's empty, that's what you wanted. Like, why are you driving away? But I think all the doubts and everything just came in, like, you're not ready yet, the business isn't there yet, we've just come from COVID, like, what are you doing? And that little voice in your head was just like, you're just a dreamer, like, what are you on about? And then got home that night, told my partner, she was like, oh, it's amazing. And then about, say, 9:30, 10 at night, one of my kickboxing students that I teach, I do like one-to-ones with, he rang me up and he just says, you do know that place is empty. You mentioned it once in a one-to-one, saying you'd like that as your own dojo. I was just like, yeah, it is empty, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm thinking like, and he was kind of pushing me to say, well, are you going to go inquire then? Like, this is what you wanted. I was just like, flipping out, so I was just like, right, let's do it. Like, so I managed to, obviously it was like 10 o'clock at night, trying to find the landlord, couldn't really find out who owned the building. Car wash was next door, so I just got the car wash number, text them saying, hi mate, interested in the building next door, what information have you got for me? And then he just texted back saying, I'll give you a call straight away.
I was like, okay, I wasn't ready for that. So it's happening. It's kind of the things where you're like, they'll just say, it's gone now, somebody's bought it, kind of thing. And then just rang me up saying, mate, it's this much a month, when you're coming down to view it. I was just like, I'll come and have a look next week. And I was like, I sounds dead scared then, like worried, thinking never took on a commercial property before, trying to like Google all about the contract and lease and business rates and all these things are just so new to me, trying to look like I actually know what I'm doing and not just this little kid who's just dreaming. So when I got down there, met him, showed me around, I was just like, instantly fell in love with it. I was like, this is the place, innit? And then the bloke's like, a martial arts centre? I was like, he's like, oh, how does that work then? Like, is that a business? Like, he just couldn't understand. He's like,
couldn't comprehend what you're up to.
Like, I'm not expecting to rent it to a martial arts school, but whatever. Then just kind of like spoke with the actual proper landlord, which I was absolutely bricking it. He's you speak to the landlord. I was just like, hi, so what can I do to it? Can I take this down? I was like, I didn't have a clue. I bet he thought, he's not going to take it. He doesn't know what he's doing. I was just like, it's just all completely new. Like, there's so many things that you just don't know about. And then I kind of sat on it for a little bit. But a lot of doubts kind of was coming in, thinking, are we ready? Like, and it was a big kind of financial risk as well. Spoke with my partner about it, and then we just kind of thought, you know what? This is your next step. This is what you wanted. Is anything going to come available again? Is this the opportunity that you need to take? So it was just a bit like, I guess it is, isn't it? So it was just like, right, we're doing it. Just thought, sod it, we're going for it. And then the guy was just like, there's the key then. Like, straight away, I was just like,
no messing,
like no contract or anything. Like, there you go, you can start like ripping bits out. So like, just straight away started ripping bits out. And then got everything else sorted, and that whole kind of rip out stage and developing was just a massive.
Were you, because you're sort of leaving school, I remember in the last podcast, was electrics, you were electrical engineer,
yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
I knew
electrician.
It. Electrician, electrical engineer sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds better, doesn't
it? But did you have this vision in mind? Did you have people come over and tell you about the planning of it, how it's going to look? How did you go about the building process?
Probably the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like looking back now, I made so many mistakes. And a lot of it was just me not being committed to my decision. I was so indecisive, and that cost us like a lot of money in the long run. And
How
just kind of
What?
just deciding when to get things in, and obviously like trades people, they can be booked up for months in advance, but for some reason I thought they'd be available tomorrow. So it's just like stupid things like that you just, there's like a million and one things like you're thinking, right, we've got this dojo now, we need to rip out all the old stuff, do all these other things, like how's it going to look, where the mat's going to go, where's the seating area, you've got 2 toilets there, what they're going to look like. And then obviously being a charity shop, it was pretty run down, to be fair. It stunk of like just old people, and then the tiles were like green, like a lime green tiles, cobwebs everywhere. I was like, oh god. So it was really hard to sort of visualize this nice new modern place when you've got left with like this horrible dirty place. So
were you there most of the days then, doing the graft, shipping
again,
things left, right and centre?
So it was literally just
exciting.
like a suspended ceiling. So we ripped all that down to expose all the steel work at the top, because we wanted like a higher ceiling. And then the ceiling was like red and like just horrible, so I was like, right, we need to paint that grey. And it's just like all these little things that at the time there's just so many things to think about. You just need to kind of like take a step back and have a bit of a plan and follow it.
It's a good attitude.
Yeah, and there was like this, the walls were the hardest thing that we made a massive mistake on, because they had this like weird wallpaper, like Artex kind of weird like wood chip thing. It was just dead weird, and like it'd been there for years. And the plaster was like, we can't plaster over it, you've got to scrape it all off.
Oh mate.
So I was like, right, okay. So we literally spent hours and hours, got loads of people involved, like some of the members came down to help out, scraping for hours and hours every day to get it all off, for then the plaster to say...
That's my least favourite job.
Yeah,
I hate that job.
Horrible. It's horrible. But then the worst bit about it was, after we scraped it all off, the plaster went, the wall behind it's not very good. Like, we can't plaster over the wall because it's all like cracked and stuff. I was just like...
Not much of an optimist, was he?
So it's like, so we had to board over the wall.
Did you have a steamer as well? Do you know?
We had everything, like chemicals on it, and it was nightmare. Then when he told me that, I was just like, that's it. So we had to board over the wall and re-plasterboard the whole thing.
Wow, what, like put a ply up first?
Yeah, so just like loads of like wooden battens across, and tack all the plasterboards to that, and then skim it over.
Wow.
Which was just like another kind of kick in the teeth. Just kind of organising when the building materials are coming to when people are coming and stuff like that, and when they can do it. And then the wall was built before the plaster got in, and then like some painting needed doing.
Wow.
And it's just all these things that were just going off. And for me, it was, you're like a project manager. Yeah. And I've never been a project manager in my life. So all of a sudden you fell into this role, and you're thinking, well, why am I shit at it? And you think, well, you've never done it before, so why would you be good at it? But we managed to like literally scrape it over the line. I think it was like 3 weeks after what we wanted to be.
I love your attitude, mate. Even saying stuff like that, you get... I've definitely done that before, where I get annoyed at myself for not being good at something that I've never tried before. So it's a really nice attitude of you to go, just give yourself be a bit gentle to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. It's okay to try new things. At least you're a trier and a doer. Yeah. And I really applaud that. Was there any moment in this building stage where you just thought, I don't know if I can do this anymore?
Yeah, many times.
Really?
Like the first month was just
Any
all
tears?
like... Not really, it was just a bit kind of like, you could just feel it on your chest. You thought, why have I just put myself under all this stress and pressure? Like, what am I doing? Like, why didn't I just stay in the school halls teaching? Like, it could have been so much easier. But yeah, no, there was a couple... Like, the first month was dead exciting. I was just in there ripping bits out, like, really good, and just doing a bit more doing rather than thinking. Which kind of cost us a bit, because I could have like got trades in straight away and booked them in for the right time, and things just took longer. And then it got to about August, and we wanted to open for September. And it got to August, and I was just like, there was things that hadn't been finished, like the plaster hadn't come yet, that got delayed, like certain plumbing things. It was just like, everything's just going wrong at the minute. Like nothing's going to plan. Everyone's being delayed. Things aren't getting done on time. We're never going to be ready on time. And it was just like, you thought, it's all just like messed up now. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, why was I thinking I could do this? And then like after like a week later, you just thought, right, no, let's get focused again, get a plan, and then just follow that plan basically.
Like taking stepping stones.
Yeah.
And what was the moment, like the most pride kicked in, and the strongest moment where you look back at it and go, oh my God, we did do it. We had that vision. Here it is.
Yeah, I think there's 2 moments. One was when the carpet went in.
It
sounds a bit weird, but like...
Carpets change the whole dynamics of a whole place, 100%.
Before, like, the flooring was just like tiles, like grey tiles. It was just like ripped up carpet. It was horrible. And then as soon as the laminate went down and the carpet, and it smelt fresh, and I was like, me and Sylvie went in one night because the carpet guy left the lights on. So the neighbour across the road was like, "You doing all your lights are left on like 10 o'clock at night?" I'm like, "No." So I was like, "Right, Sylvie, do you want to have a drive, turn the lights off?" And we was both just in there and was like, "It's actually starting to look like a dojo now. Like, this is
Did you have
cool."
like a little happy moment?
Yeah. I thought like, you know what, like it's all worth it, wasn't it? Like,
Do the dance.
because it's like when you do like a build or anything like that, the last bit that makes it look good is the painting or the carpets. But that's right at the end of the build, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the start, when you've got like mess everywhere and like a building site, it's quite hard to sort of get excited because you just think, oh, there's so much left to do, so much left to tidy, so much left to do. But then once it was there, it was sand. And when we put the mats down, that was a good feeling. So I was just like, this is a dojo. and then but it's weird after that though, because once we was in there in mid-September, we got in first classes. I was just so consumed with making sure it was perfect, is everybody happy, like toilets are there, doing the classes, and just I was just so worried about other people's thoughts and make sure the classes are good and growing the business that I never actually took time to take it all in.
Wow.
So it wasn't until like, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks later that I was on there on my own at night, and it was just kind of like quiet, and I just
sat
that moment, and just thought, this is like your dream, like you're living your dream, like this was your goal.
Oh mate,
and
done it again.
It was just like, it just felt amazing
again,
to like, you think, and then it just kind of gives you the confidence to do other things. You think, well, if I could do this, sure, I could do something else.
Is that genuinely a thought now?
Yeah.
You just
like
the sky's your limit sort of thing.
Pretty much. Learned like so much through doing this build and stuff like that, and just the new skills that you develop from doing it, like become so much more decisive now. Before I was so indecisive, like, what colour do you want the carpet? Oh, I don't know, this one, that one, or I don't know. And then you'd spend like 3 days deciding, and you think that's 3 days of wasted energy. But you just got to make it. Obviously, it's hard because you want to make sure you get the decision right. But there's a lot of the times where I wanted it to be perfect. I didn't want to make a bad decision, which delayed my thought process on making decisions, which ultimately made it worse because time was being wasted. It's just like, you need to just make a decision, stick with it. To take the ceiling down, we had like a suspended ceiling before, and I was like, it must have took me like 4 days to decide to take it down.
Yeah.
So I took a coach on as well, which I'll talk about in a bit, and he was like a business coach and martial arts, so he's been there, done it all, and he was like, I'd leave the ceiling up, that's the professional look that you want. And I was just like, I think I want to take it down. Like, I think it'll look better down. He was like, no, I think you should keep it up. And I asked like loads of people, and I was like, yeah, keep the ceiling, like, looks loads more professional. And I was just looking for that one person to agree with me. And then I found one. I think it was the painter. He was like, yeah, I'd take it down. I think it'd look better. I thought, Sam, we're taking it down. Why has it just took me for one other person to agree with me to do it? Whereas one that just saying, you know what, I want the ceiling down. I'm doing it. If it looks terrible, it looks terrible. We'll just put the ceiling back up again.
You already had your answer in mind.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. There's so many
that.
times where like, you know what you want, but you don't dare commit to it. So that was, definitely a lot more better at just making decisions and just sticking with it. Being more of a leader as well. You had all these trades like saying like when we're coming in or what's happening or where are you now, and I had to give them the answers so they knew. And there's sometimes just like, I don't actually know, I don't know, has that been done yet? Is that been, you've got to kind of be that leader. So yeah, it's definitely developed a lot of leadership skills, like communication skills as well, and just a bit more of a get it done attitude really, instead of just faffing around, and just be a bit more ruthless as well. Because I'm a bit like,
authoritative.
Yeah. Sometimes I was a bit like soft,
assertive.
and people like, not turning up on time or not doing as good job, and I'll be like when you get your hair cut and it's terrible, and you're just like, is it right? Yeah, it's great, yeah. And then you walk out and think, why is that terrible? And some things were like that, and I thought, yeah, that's a bit crap, that, isn't it? But I'm not going to tell him. I'm like, yeah, great, mate, thanks. And then, I'd tell Sylvia, that's terrible, that is. She's like, well, why don't you tell him, not me? But I just like didn't want to have that conflict, whereas now I'm a bit better at sort of accepting there needs to be conflict sometimes to resolve things. And
it doesn't have to be to throwing fists
and
getting angry and fighting one another or shouting. It's just having that assertiveness to say, no, that isn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
Please, can we rectify it and go for this? And I think that is a skill I've learned. It's about that balancing factor.
Yeah.
I was very much more like you. And my mum, who's achieved quite a lot, I think it's on the other scale.
Yeah.
She's a bit very direct and can sometimes come across scary to people.
Yeah.
But to have that inside your arsenal and be able to the arsenal. Go on, lads. For all those that are just listening to this, I've lifted up my Arsenal cup. But to have that there, to be able to know what you want, know what you're about, and demand it, but still in a compassionate, kind way, I think that's a very core and key skill that people miss a lot of the time, and there's only a certain amount of people to get it, to understand that. So that seems to be one of the biggest business ones for me. But it's very
Yeah.
hard, when you've been upset by something or they've not done it in that way, and you're looking back at it going, oh dear,
Yeah.
it's got to come out now. But the second you do have that moment of clarity, have a few breaths and say, right, it's not the way I wanted it, what we're going to do,
Yeah.
the best outcome always comes from it, rather than just running and screaming. I've seen that,
Yeah,
how that
yeah.
unfolds as well, and it doesn't go well.
Doesn't work, no. Yeah, no, definitely. I think there's so many times where I realise I'm quite a bit of a perfectionist as well. There's some things I just like, it needed to be right. Like I wanted it to be level, or I wanted it to be perfect, which coming across to other people, they're like, oh yeah, that's all right. I think, no, it's not all right. It's not right though, is it? It's not perfect. Yeah, but nobody will see it. I think, well, it's the wrong attitude to have. Whereas sometimes I felt myself thinking like, I'm turning to right perfectionist here. Like, I didn't think I was like that. I thought it was a bit more easygoing. But I think once you've kind of invested so much into it, you kind of do get a bit perfection. You think, well, yeah, I'm paying all this money. Like, I want it to look amazing. And I think that was another challenge because we had a budget for it. Took out a big loan, which again was a massive financial risk. Took out a 20 grand loan, which I've never done before. Obviously, Sylvie, my partner, she was like saying, well, it's a big financial risk for us as a family, and like, the house and mortgages, and we still got bills to pay. And I was just like, and for her to trust me to think, yeah, you know what, you're going to pay that back, like you're going to make it work. That was obviously nice to have that support.
Right.
And I obviously was like back against the wall. Then it's just like we needed that money to invest in it to revamp the place, and basically, yeah, just used every penny we had to do it and get it pumped up to what it is. And then
what are some of Sylvia's sort of really good traits in this business of yours? Is it that just allowing you to be you as much as possible, but then also sort of grounding you when you need it? Because I don't think partners, when we've got big risk taker boyfriends or whatever it is, or girlfriends, I don't think they get enough credit a lot of the time. And I always, at every event we put on, I make a big shout out and a big point of Chrissy is actually the spine and the backbone and the reason this all stands. So what are some of the things that she did deliver to you?
Oh, just that stable rock.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when sort of spent a lot of time there, like, every sort of waking hour I was there, stripping wallpaper, taking the ceiling down, putting lights up, whatever it was. A lot of time went there, so it was a lot of time that we didn't have together, but she was kind of understanding of it. And sometimes even when I was thinking, oh, you know what, should we just have like a weekend off? She's like, no, you need to get the freaking thing down for plaster on Monday. Like, get your arse there now. And
That's amazing.
Then
what
it was
person.
good, to have that pushing up.
What
Like, go on then, we'll have a weekend off. She was like, she knew my kind of goals, and it was like our goal together. And it is like I always say, like whatever I'm working towards, it's for us. It's not just for me to have loads of money in the bank and say, see ya, while you're staying here, I'm in Mauritius. It's like we're gonna, you know what I mean? It's like it's for us to go on holiday
that's a great
together.
idea.
And it's just it always is that kind of way. And Sylvia's, we're very like yin and yang. I'm sort of more easygoing and like where she's more kind of assertive, knows what she wants, kind of that conflict thing is not an issue. She's like, if she's not happy, she'll go tell them. If she's had some service and it's not right, she'll go tell them. So it kind of like, she brings that out of me, which is brilliant because there's so many things that I'll be like, oh, I don't know. She was like, just ring them now. And like, sort of tell me how to do things that are going to be the best way. Or even if we get like an email or a message from like one of the mums about something, it's always good to just voice it to her, that she can give her opinion back, which is good. It's just kind of nice to have that somebody to vibe off and understand where you are as people and looking at different views. And even we don't always agree, it's something that, well, I don't think that's right. Then it's just like, well, fair enough. And it's just like, that's what I'm going with.
Conversation around it.
Yeah, and then it's just kind of like, fair enough. I'm just letting you know my view on it. And then, so it's nice. It's good.
But now you said it in there, and I want to touch on that a bit because, you've got what you've always wanted. You've managed to get to the dream place. But when you get to that spot, you do need to plateau in life a bit, don't you? You need to just make it successful, make it keep going. Do you have loads of dreams and loads of ideas of things you want to go to? And is there an end point? Because for me, one of my best mates, a really close friend of mine from school, I bet he's done, literally stopped going to school and got a job, good job, but did 60-hour weeks to 100-hour weeks. He found something he loved and he's very, very good at it. But he was just working 60 to 100 hours, and I don't think he's ever took a day off. I really don't. He's just worked all his life. That's all I've known. Never gone on holiday. And now he's just had a breakup, and it's a very painful, emotional time for him. But he has gone to that existential part of his existence now. He's questioning, well, why have I just done all of this? Why am I just working on this mission when actually there's this side of my life and there's this side and this side that I've not attended to, I've not cared for, and that's cost me ultimately.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just want a bit of a background. You've hit your mission now, but how do you spin your plates? How do you make sure you're still adhering to this side of your life and also going forward with them dreams and passions and goals? It's a very packed question, but
yeah, it's a very loaded question.
Just go for it, son.
I guess you've got to kind of just truly know your goals and your visions and always check in with them and just think,
that's a great piece of that.
Why do I really still want this? Because I had a vision board. It was on my laptop screensaver, so every time I went on it, I always do it.
So like laws of attraction wise.
Yeah. So I had like 8 or 9 pictures on it. Awesome. There's only one that I haven't achieved, and that is a Range Rover. And then now I question it, I think, do I really want a Range Rover? Obviously, it'd be meant to have one. But then, like the last sort of couple of months, I sort of questioned, think actually, you know, if I had the money to waste on it, then yeah, I'd probably get one. But I feel like if I got one, it wouldn't really change me that much, or I don't think I'd get as much enjoyment as what I think. Whereas the martial arts dojo, that is just like a massive goal. What else was on it? I think go to Venice. We did that. Me and Sylvie get proposed in Venice. Did that. Wow. A great feeling. We're gonna get married abroad. We've like booked that now, so that's all sorted. We bought a house together as well. There's like all these like goals that I've achieved, and I look back and think, and I get so much excitement from all them goals. And I think, yeah, they were like really true goals, and I think the materialistic goals aren't sort of me. And I think it's only there. So like now, I think if you're checking with your goals all the time, you think, am I working towards it? And with my goals, me and Sylvia like share each other's goals, and we're on the same side of the mission.
Yeah.
So that when you are aiming towards something, or you know you taking more time to do work, or the weekends off, you're missing parties and stuff like that, you kind of both on that mission, you both know it.
Dude, you're mint. Yeah, honestly, I think what you're saying now is so many people would benefit from. They really would. This is perfect advice right now, and there's a lot of disillusionment in people. There's a lot of confusion, loss, struggle, and everything you're saying right there is where people could start picking up their life from. And I really, really value what you've just said then. So even diving more to that, like the laws of attraction. Was that something that's grown inside of you? Did you watch the documentary? Did you read a book? How did that just go, you know what, Sylvie, we need to grow our mission together. We need to grow our dreams, put a vision board together. What built all of that process up for you?
I guess I've always been interested in personal development, even when I was like 14, 15, 16. Through my martial arts, we do something called like a team talk, and my instructors, very like grateful to know them, because they always give you like a bit of a I don't know, like a pep talk at the end of class. Like they'll say, right, this week we're talking about respect, and
I love this.
You know, talking about goals and stuff like that. And so throughout my childhood, I've been talked to about goals, and you can achieve what you want to if you put the work in, and that's sort of been fed into me. And then it kind of, obviously as you get a bit older, you kind of, a lot of people around the workspace around you think like, yeah, that's not true though, is it? You know, you can't just pick a goal and then achieve it. But I've always kind of believed that if I do set goals, then it gives me something to work towards. So yeah, it's just kind of, whenever like I set a goal, or whenever I have like that vision, I kind of think, well, what kind of person do I need to be to get there? You know what I mean? I think it's not impossible. What do I have to lose by going for it? You know, what's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? And then is it going to make me happy when I'm there, or am I happy now, kind of thing? Where's this goal being like driven from? Is it from an outside source? Just because Johnny down the road's got a Ferrari, do you now want a Ferrari, or have you always wanted one because your dad took you in when you were little? I don't know, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Just understanding what your goals are and what purpose they're going to serve you, and then serve your others as well. Like if I had a goal of, I don't know, wanting like say loads of money, I think, well, is that going to serve me? Like, you know, it might not change it, but if I can create the freedom in my business to then go on holiday more with Sylvie, then it's like, oh yeah, that's amazing. So then now it's like, right, Sylvie, we're building the business, we're going to get that staffing team built up, so I've got more free time to go away with you. So then it's like, yeah, sound, do you know what I mean? And then, yeah, just kind of works on, I think I've deviated away from the law of attraction.
No, not at all, though.
But yeah, back to law of attraction. I think it's something that, yeah, I've always believed in. The more I get older, listen to podcasts, read books, it's just always out there.
Was that one of the commonalities in different podcasts you listen to.
Yeah,
where
I think so, yeah.
It kept coming up and you go, I need to try this thing.
Yeah.
But I think what you just said then, learning from feeling, because you may have pursued a goal before of make as much money as possible, and then you realise quite quickly when you get that new iPhone, when you get that new car, that feeling, it dissipates so fast.
Yeah.
You have it and then you go, I'm a bit bored now. But when you go away with your partner, me and Chrissy went to New Zealand, I still, when I just mentioned it then, there's a light goes in my stomach, in my head, it just burns me up and I'm like, oh, that was a beautiful moment when we're in Hobbiton together and so on. And it's learning from them feelings. So when you start building vision boards or putting ideas up and thinking about missions, go from that feeling. Do you want to get that 2, 3, 4 years later feeling where it still comes back to you in the exact same way and you burn up and you feel great about it? Or what about when you got that phone? I can't remember what that felt like.
Yeah.
Well, don't put that on the board. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think of them awesome times away. Creating a space that's yours.
Yeah.
You can't take that feeling away from you.
No.
As soon as somebody mentions the buses to me, or that looked like a cool gig, or whatever you're putting on, it fills me the exact same way every time, and it's because I'm so proud of it. You genuinely feel deep down, I've done something I believe in there.
Yeah.
So I really do think vital, learn from them responses, learn from them feelings. And that's, I don't know if I believe in laws of attraction or not to some of the, what people would classify as woo-woo levels.
Yeah.
I'm just not educated enough on it. I've not gone down them paths of what the quantum physics says or whatever. But one thing I do know is it's changed my life because I do believe in it in some regard and I implement it in my life. So for anybody listening to this, why not?
That's it, innit? What other choice have you got? You can either believe, all you do is take the vision board, you can either just keep it in your mind like, I want this goal, create a plan, go for it. If you don't do that, what are you going to do? Just sit at home and think, I want my martial arts dojo, and just sit there and do nothing. It's
because you do hear people talk badly on it, don't you? Like,
I think it's because they don't understand it though.
It's all like wishy-washy, hippy-dippy, woo-woo.
Yeah.
And you go, well, okay, there's an element to that, but I promise you, if you just try implemented it in some way, shape or form, your life's going to change. It's going to feel a better existence from just putting that in.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, we were talking about laws of attraction. Is it what, RE?
Reticular activating system.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
RAC. I was like, REC? But it is, what happened to you? You're driving past them empty spaces and suddenly you're looking out for places that you could put in your benefit martial arts and you're seeing them everywhere you go. It's when you buy a yellow car, you're driving around and suddenly everybody's got a yellow car.
There's always there.
They've existed all that time. You've just not been looking out for them. So I completely agree with that. Now, what was your first session like in that class? The very first opening the door. Did you have a cut of the
That's
ribbon?
on Saturday. It's on Saturday.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
The big.
Try and get this done for Saturday.
Yeah. If not, never mind. It would have been on Saturday.
We've just dated the podcast.
Get to work. So we're going to a big open day on this weekend. We're going to get loads of people down. But that first week was just kind of...
To be fair, we'll have this out for Friday. So everybody, if you listen to this today, which is Friday, it's going to be out tomorrow. Where can they go?
Butterley Hill, Ripley, next to the car wash. What was the question again? That first week. Yeah, sorry. So that first week, it was all just like a members only kind of thing. Who have been training with me before, and it was amazing just to see the kids walk in and be like, wow, we've literally gone from this school hall that had orange lights and the floor was chipped and you had to go through smelling of school before you get there, and there were no like culture there, whereas now it's like you've got these nice chairs to sit on. Mums and dads were loving it because they've gone from a hard school bench to a nice comfy chair. But for me personally, I wasn't kind of living in the moment enough. I was too busy just thinking I could see all the imperfections of the business that wasn't ready yet, in the building, that wasn't ready yet. Like, the pipe was there, that radiator's not on, like, we still need to paint up there, like, I hope no one looks up there, and like all these little things that they didn't even see. They was just like, wow, we've got a matted training here, like, this is amazing. So the first 2 weeks, like, I just wasn't there. Like, I was happy and I enjoyed it, but I didn't take it in enough. And it took a while for me to sort of sit back and think like, wow, this is amazing.
You have to keep that about you though, don't you, as a business owner? Like today, you came into the bus and you're like, hey man, look what you've done. But my first thing was, I'm really sorry about the smell, dude. We just had a gig on the weekend. It's sticky floor. It's like the Regal. And if I didn't have that about me, I'd just let it go to that sort of space.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm actually thinking, why didn't I mop? It's you coming, and it's just you. Why am I bothered about what Jordan thinks? But no, to anyone, to any person coming in, even my parents that know the space, I want them to come on and go, oh, he's kept it in really good shape instead. So it's good to keep it about you, but like you say, everything comes back to balance.
Yeah, balance.
You can cripple yourself with that feeling, can't you? You can end up being like, it's never going to be good enough.
Yeah.
What's the point of it? And just beat yourself up a lot.
Too busy like living in the future too much, which like sometimes I definitely do too much. Because I get like quite big goals and visions and drive. It's all a bit like, I'm on a mission. I need to get to there. I need to get to there. This is what I need to do to get to there. And there's a lot of times where I just think, just take it in, like just take a step back and take it in. But I'm scared of like taking my eye off the ball and missing something, and then, do you know what I mean? Which probably wouldn't happen by having 2 days off or whatever, or a day of just kind of being in the moment. So I'm trying to get a bit better at that myself, but it's quite hard when you're sort of driven and you want to achieve things. But yeah, it is making sure that you're sort of happy now and not happy when you get to this, or happy when I get to this. Which I think once I was doing the build and the refit of the dojo, there were many times in that I was just so stressed and just annoyed with things not going right, and I thought, this is just killing me. And then I just thought, you know what, you're meant to enjoy the moment, like enjoy the journey. Like, it's challenging, but like, take it as something fun. Like, the skip's not turned up and you've got loads of stuff coming in and the delivery's made and no one's there and it's all outside, it's come 2 days early, someone's going to nick it all, and then it's just like, right, what can we do? And it's just going into that bit of, it's just a game kind of thing. It's just a game, like whatever this is, it's just a game. How are you going to play this next round kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? Are you going to,
you're not always winning.
Are you going to
It'd
do
be
it?
really boring, if every episode and every part of the game was just, right, done it again.
But
Tekken would be, I'd quit.
Yeah, exactly. If it was easy, obviously, say if it was easy, everyone would do it. If it was easy to get six-pack, everyone would have six-pack and set on loads of cash because it's just that easy to get money, but it's that thing that makes it difficult that kind of makes things, it's worth it at the end because you've gone through all these challenges. Just like a game, like, you don't get to the end of the game thinking like, oh, that was easy. You kind of get to the end and think, oh, thank God I got to the end. Like, that was such a tough round, that last one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. But yeah, I think it's good just to kind of check in with yourself, make sure you're living in the moment.
I'll probably I'll say a swear word now, but it was because I've got a song out called Master Plan, and I write that, and I say one of the lines is, we've all been effing and blinding at Tekken, but when you've twatted a boss a good one, there's no greater feeling for some. And I remember, like, it is true, I remember being back with my mates and we were stuck for a whole night on this boss, and it was 6 a.m, and I was just out getting this going. I was seeing his life go down, 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 down. It's on this last bit, and I kicked him in the head, and he does that whole thing where he rips his head off, and everybody jumped up simultaneously, and we're going mental. We wouldn't have had that feeling at all if it was the first round. I've just killed him, and everyone's like, oh well, we'll play again next time or whatever.
Yeah, I guess it's just it's like anything, isn't it? Like boxing matches, like when they finish, they're just on the ring crying, aren't they?
Yeah,
so they've literally just put all that emotion into it, and it just feels so joyous in victory, but then when obviously you lose, it just feels even worse because you've literally put so much into it. So I think that's probably another thing as well, like dealing with kind of failures.
Yes.
Not dwelling on them and just kind of thinking, it didn't work, let's move on. Like, there's so many times that I dwelled on failures and thinking, if only I did that, like, why didn't we do that? When it was just kind of, it's happened now, you can't change it, what can you change? Let's just do it that way. See you later, done about it. Like, there's so many times where it just consumed my mind and I'd just be beating myself up over it. But if you can't change it, then it's just like, I've learnt my lesson, let's go again kind of thing. And just leave it behind.
An activity I do with kids a lot where we get a blank piece of paper and I get them to draw a picture of their face. Yeah. But the caveat is you've got to do it with your eyes closed. So we go and we start drawing it. And I've been around so many schools now, school after school after school, and you've got half the class that are going mental, they're trying to draw, eyes over here, noses over there, and then the other half, crippled, that won't actually do anything. They wouldn't put a piece on the paper. So I always ask, like, hands in the air. So for those who cheated, and they always go, nah, no one cheated. And then One time there was a young girl, and she really honestly put her hand in the air, and she was looking at the paper, but she'd actually not put anything down. And I was like, okay, well, why do you feel you felt like the need to cheat and to look at the paper with your eyes open? And she just went, I didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
And I remember that moment, and I got her to stand up, and I said, this was me at school. This was the position I was in. I never wanted to be wrong.
Yeah.
But how are we going to grow? How are we going to build from that position of always being fearful of putting stuff on a paper? These guys, with all the crazy stuff there, we can look back at it, have a laugh, and then think about how we're going to edit it and how we're going to add colour to it and all that. But for those people that don't dare put anything on the paper, we've got nothing to work from.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool little,
good,
and that's a great, because I teach poetry obviously, it's a great start for the day, because then I go on to say sort of poetry, lucky for you lot, you can't be wrong, there's no right and wrong, it's just expression, putting a piece of you. I like philosophy, you do too, and you're saying at your classes you used to have people give you a little bit of a debrief, a little bit of some. Do you do that as well then?
Yeah, it's one of like my probably favourite times in the class.
Really?
Just simply because one, I like to sort of talk and inspire people and coach people and stuff like that anyway. But then one, it's like looking at the kids' faces and then looking at the parents' faces, and they're like, wow, like why isn't this being taught in school? Like a great example, on Friday we had a young lad, 5 years old, first class, dead shy to start off with. Didn't want to join in, just sat next to the mats. I was like, that's fine, yeah, no worries. Like, have a little chat to him. Then we have these like little spots where people stand on. So I put a little spot next to him at the edge of the mats. Like, there you go, you can stand on your spot. Stood on the spot, like, see his confidence growing. But at the end of the class, he was absolutely loving it. Like, did the whole class. And our team talk was about energy, and it was about, right, if we've got loads of energy, we can do lots of things. If we don't have much energy, we can't do lots of things, yeah? So if I didn't have energy, would I be able to come to martial arts today? And all the kids are like, no. Would I be able to play with my friends at school? No. Right, so what are 3 things that we can do to make sure we've got energy? Well, first one is we've got to make sure we're eating healthy food, yeah? So eating lots of healthy food, fruits, vegetables. So when your mum puts the food there, you've got to eat it because you've got to make sure you've got energy. Then the second was like sleep. When your mum and dad tell you to go to bed, they're only telling you because they want to make sure you've got lots of energy for the next day so you can play more. Then it's like stuff like that. And then last one was drink lots of water. We've got to make sure we're drinking lots of water, keeping hydrated. And then I got a text message afterwards saying, like, I can't believe it. My son's just finally at his dinner. Normally it's an absolute battle to get him to eat, and he's at it all just because you told him you need energy.
Mate, mate.
And that's just like that's me kind of thinking, yeah, I'm doing the right thing, and like that's enough. And we get loads of messages like that, like, at school the kids come up to me and they finally stood up to the bully, they put their hands up and told them no. Or like every week we have something different, so it could be like confidence, respect, discipline, like who should we respect the most in this room? The queen, no, not the queen. It's like, our mums and dads, yeah, do they do lots for us? Yeah, do they tuck us in bed when we're tired? Like, do they feed us when we're hungry? And they're like, yeah, like, have they brought us here today, or did you come yourself? Oh no, they brought us. Oh wow, yeah, mums and dads do loads for us, don't they? And they're like, yeah, go give your mum and dad a massive hug, because like they do so much. And then it's just things like that, and then the parents are like, they're finally appreciating what we do at such a young age, where you don't when you're younger, do you? Just think, this person in your life, your mum and your dad, is there to look after me. Do you know what I mean?
Wax me on the head all the time. Like, I'm really looking after you.
They just don't know. Whereas I think if we can get across some messages to them, to let them understand about friendship, about sharing, about respect, about the roles mum and dads have, the role you have a friend. Yeah, you can't be a bad friend and expect a good friend. Like, you've got to be a good friend to get good friends. It's just all these kind of chats we have every week. It's only like sort of 2 to 3 minutes, so it's not like sat there like falling asleep. And we engage them and we say, right, what do we need? Lots of healthy food, and like, make sure we're getting a good night's sleep. So like they're involved in it, and they kind of leave in with lessons, not just about martial arts, because people don't pay for martial arts classes. Like, when they come down, they're not paying for martial arts classes. They're paying for their son to be more confident. They're paying for them to lose weight. They're paying for, them to start respecting them. Whatever it is, whatever goal they are, that's what people are paying us for. So everyone's got different goals and reasons for doing martial arts. Because when it comes to grading, and then people miss a grade and they're like, oh, I'm so gutted. I'm saying, when you enrolled your child with us, was your goal, I want to get his orange belt? And they're like, no. I was like, the belts don't matter. We've got another grading. Don't worry. Like, what was the reason? Oh, I wanted him to become more confident. Is he still going to get confidence? Well, yeah. Whether he's wearing a green belt or an orange belt, he's still going to be confident because we're still teaching him. So it's things like that, and just
they need to feel that element, what we've just said, of failure though as well, or not getting a grade in, that's a lesson in its own right, straight away.
There's a
why haven't they? Whatever it is.
Yeah, one of my coaches, he used to say, fail forward fast. And it's just like, the more you fail, the closer you are to success. And it's a bit like, and we've taught this to the kids before, saying like, the more you fail, the more chance you're probably going to succeed, because you're learning from your mistakes. And they're like, do you want me to fail to like succeed? And they're like, yes. It just sounds so backwards. Like, what do you mean? That if I don't get, then obviously we talked to them about, you know, learning from your mistakes and just giving things a go. Because if you never give it a go, you're never going to probably be successful, because you've never tried. And just kind of, letting them know that, you know, there's going to be winners and there's going to be learners. Yeah. So it's not about, you know, being the best and stuff like that, and sort of channeling that competitiveness as well. So it's not saying like, you know, if you don't win, like, oh, it's all good, get a prize for being last. No, it's not like that. It's just saying, look, you might not win, but you're going to learn something whether you try. You know what I mean?
That's my favourite saying today. There's going to be winners and there's going to be learners.
Yeah.
Absolutely
we
fantastic.
We have that as a banner around our mats. There's going to be winners and there's going to be learners.
Where did you find that one? I like that.
I don't know.
Andy Frizella.
Yeah, I don't know where I got it from, but yeah, I thought that was cool. Another one's a white belt is a black belt that never gave up. Together achieving greatness is our slogan. And I think the other one's be better today than you were tomorrow. Be better tomorrow than you were yesterday. Something like that. I can't think that, but yeah, something like that. And it's just all these positive signs, which makes our dojo a massive positive hub. So as soon as you walk in, it's just like positivity.
Wow.
Our culture's there, and then like when people like enroll with us, they just say like, the culture's amazing. Like I just feel like I could achieve more in my life when I'm in this building. And like they've given this like little helping hand to them to achieve their dreams and stuff, where you go out into the world where it's just very negative. And
again, it's those simple things. It's not mind-boggling stuff. It's stuff that we know deep down. It's rooted in us. Yeah. But you're literally affirming it, and you're having people come in, and this is that safe space where you come and re-understand yourself. Those things that have been taken away from us, like you say, constant negativity all the time around us, bullies, whatever it is, feeling scared and not good enough. You're just going, you're more than good enough. Here's some principles to show you that. And I absolutely love that there's a space so close to me that's delivering that. And with these lessons with youngsters, how old are we talking here? What ages?
We do from 3 years old.
Wow.
So we've got a 3 to 4 year old class, 5 to 7, 8 to 13, teens and adults.
This is brilliant, man. I want to go to bullying. You mentioned bullying. Yeah. What are some good ideas at helping? Because I'll be honest, we're running a thing down here. We've got off the breaks. It's going absolutely brilliant. And some of the students will come to me, and now we've got, I think we're 8 weeks in, 9 weeks in. They're really comfortable. They're loving what they're doing. They're getting a little bit more open, and they want to come to you. Give them a little bit of background, an idea about what's going on at school or outside areas. And I can't give them the advice my granddad gave me.
Boom, one,
that's a bit old school.
Yeah.
But what are some ideas and thoughts that you implement for bullying?
So we kind of say, obviously, the best fights are the ones you avoid. It's not worth getting involved. If somebody, like we do this one, I say, right, we'll get a student up to the front, and so let's say the name's Ava. I say, right, your name is now Fred. I'm going to call you Fred. And then if someone says Fred, and then I says, would you be annoyed that I've called you Fred? You'd be like, well, no. I says, well, what's your name? Like, Ava. I says, you know your name's Ava, so why would you be bothered with me calling you Fred? So I says, at school, if someone calls you, you've got silly hair, why are you bothered if you know you've got good hair? So it's just like building up their self-esteem to that, you know what, they shouldn't be saying that to me. And like, you know what, I'm not actually bothered because I'm not listening to you anyway. And there is a part of it that you have to develop a bit of a thick skin, which is at school is quite hard because kids are quite sensitive anyway. So there is an element of transition of building up that thicker skin, of ignoring it. But then we always say, like, look, if you could ignore it, tell the teachers, you know, don't kind of entertain it at all. But then if there comes a point where it's becoming physical and they're actually pushing you, like hitting you, stuff like that, then you've got every right to defend yourself. Defend yourself isn't necessarily punch you in the face. It could just be putting your hands up, telling them no. It could be doing a block. And then usually it never really goes much further than that, because then the bully is thinking, actually, this person isn't so weak as what I thought. I'm going to find another weaker target. And then once they've kind of got that, and then we always, like, I get so many kids that say, oh, this lad was like hitting me, but I didn't dare hit him back because I thought I'd get told off. I'm just like, if someone's hitting you, if you need to hit them back, you're protecting yourself. You're keeping yourself safe. if you think that was the right thing to do, then you shouldn't ever get told off for defending yourself. Like, what are you going to do? Just sit there and take it. Like, you know, you can like eat yourself back, but it's negating all them other things before it gets to that. Do you know what I mean? So whether it's just telling the teacher that I don't want to sit next to her anymore because he just keeps headbutting me. Yeah. Then it's like then it's up to the teachers and the adults and responsible to hopefully diffuse that situation. But yeah, there is sometimes where, you know, you're there and it's just like, yeah, they keep calling me. I've ignored them. Yeah, they keep doing it. They keep doing it. And it's like, well, something needs to change then. You know? And it's kind of up to them whether they feel enough to stand up to them and tell them, which is usually enough. Because like I say, bullies kind of just go for the weak ones. They want to feel that power. And if you can stand up and not be bothered about what anybody else is thinking, you can kind of stand up to that bully and have that self-esteem to think, who are you to bully me? Like, you've got no right in bullying me, kind of thing. And then, like I said, if you need to sometimes push them back or hit them, it's kind of like, if that needs to be done, then that might be a good way of doing it. I know plenty of people that's happened and they've never been bullied again, simply because they stood up to the bully.
Happened to me.
And it's not necessarily like kids and stuff. They're not going to start like hitting people and like, you know, like, and if adults, if you hit someone, you could probably potentially kill them, couldn't you, if they're falling? Yeah. Whereas kids, it might just be like a push or a scuffle or something like that. But it's just that moment where they've stood up for themselves. And then it's that moment where the bullies felt really weak and just felt like this small. That I think is a big kind of change.
I think what you mentioned there as well, it's building up a plan with them, because there's always a magnitude of things that can be done, and it's got to be for that individual to build up their armour, what they're going to do. And I love that being one of the potential ideas of what you can do, is just build up their self-esteem so strongly that they feel so good in themselves. I suppose I can go back to my experience of being bullied at school. I was quite a fat kid. I was very big as a kid, emotional feeling there. I overcompensated by eating lots of penguins. Lots of wagon wheels was a big one for me. And I had a very nurturing grandma. But I did become a very big kid. And from that, I got really bullied. So I suppose my self-esteem was very low. But they were saying truths to me. So when they were calling me fatty and whatever you can imagine, I knew it as well deep down. So there's that other element of, I need to know, well, it's maybe because you want to feel healthy. You want to be a better size for yourself. So that's something you've got to work on. We can work on that with you. In the meantime, here's some ammo or armor for dealing with these guys to make them back off a little bit. But let's build up your self-esteem and make you become feeling better about yourself, because you clearly feel low. This is what we can do. Do you know what I mean? There's so much around it, and there is no one size fits all for this matter. But just to be implementing something and helping them out in whatever way you can. Amazing. Amazing.
No, it's true, like what you said about, obviously if something's triggered you, there's usually a reason behind it. And with kids it's very complex because they might not open up to you. You can sort of hide behind other reasons to like why they're, you know, the schoolwork's messing around or they're not listening in class. All of a sudden it's like, well, why are you not listening in class? They're going to tell you something that probably isn't the truth. It might take a few times for them to actually, you know, mum and dad have been arguing a lot, that's why my focus has just gone. And it's little things like that you think, well, let's sort that out. And then obviously as adults and parents, you've got a responsibility. You know, don't overfeed your kids so that they're fat, you know, keep them healthy, like give them good values so that they've got everything that they can to sort of go through school without being bullied or anything like that, really. But obviously there's always going to be people that are horrible, because there's always going to be sort of children that are raised in households that might not have the support. You know, they might be on low income, they might be whatever it is in poverty, and they don't have the skills that, you know, I might be teaching because they haven't learned them themselves. So it just kind of gets passed down. And then the kid at school that's always bullying people is the one that's got no sort of home, and the mum and dad are always out at the time, and the dog bites him when he's in sleep, and you know what I mean? And you think, well, no wonder he's so angry and just wants to let his anger out at other kids at school because at home he's not happy. So it is hard, and I try and just understand everybody from, like, nobody does something without a reason. You're not just a bad person. Like, I don't think anyone can be born just a horrible person.
No, toxic traits roll on.
Yeah, and it is quite hard. And with what we do and we're teaching kids, it can be quite hard because people come to me like sort of therapist or something. You know what I mean? And I feel a bit like, I feel like why am I going down this with them? Like, surely should get some proper help. And then, but they're like, well, I feel safe around you. Like you teach me about other things. And we get loads of kids and like parents will just sit with me and saying, right, this is going off. They're not happy with this. Can you talk to them about, you know, this, because they won't listen to me. And it is kind of hard sometimes to feel that pressure and that responsibility, but then you sort of, that's what you kind of want. Like, so it's,
We are
there's time.
therapists in a way though, man. I mean, what is therapy? It's finding a safe space to go and process your emotions.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a human. I've been through lots of emotions and I've been through lots of experiences. I think like I'm wise. I like to think I've got a more wise side of my nature now through so many lived experiences, so much dealings of my emotions, and I've tried to learn to calm them or how to eradicate certain ones or whatever it is. So I think we are good people to be dishing out advice or ideas at least, and not being imposter syndrome. Oh, I've not got a certificate to say I can do this. If they feel that comfortability with us and they want to come to us and open up about X, Y, and Z, perfect space to do it. And especially in your environment, is it mainly karate that you focus on, or
so we do karate for the kids and adults, but just kickboxing for the adults.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
But there's a lot of, again, ancient philosophies and wisdom within all of that. So if they know they've probably seen Kung Fu Panda, surely.
Yeah.
But if they know that's behind it, it opens up that door, doesn't it, to sort of say, oh, I've loved this classroom thing. Can I talk to you about these things that I'm pained by at the minute? So what a space for it. Would you come down here?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, I think, like I say, it's just opening up that space in their mind to think, because like when kids kind of have their own thoughts and stuff like that, they kind of just taught to, these are my thoughts, this is what I'm feeling. Whereas if we can kind of jump in there and say, actually, you can open that up a little bit and think, well, why am I it's just like self-awareness. I think that's something that for me has been a massive sort of game changer in how I deal with emotions and sort of everything. And especially with me and Sylvie as a relationship, we've both become very self-aware, and I think that's just really like made us so sort of stronger together. Because if we have an argument, it's just like, well, let's be self-aware again. We're like psychoanalyzing each other now. Yeah. Sometimes it gets a bit too far. We're like, we're just had an argument, just leave it as that. Well, why did you do that? Maybe you're feeling a bit of anger from earlier in the day. And you like think, God, we've gone too deep here. But no, having that self-awareness of like, well, yeah, of course I was short with her because I was annoyed at such and such in the business and da-da-da-da. And then, I didn't have much sleep last night, so that's probably why. And then you think, yeah, fair enough. Like, you're not just being a horrible person today. It's just there's a reason behind it. And having that self-awareness is really good, I think, for everybody.
How did you build on that self-awareness?
I don't know, I guess meditation was probably a good way of helping with that. Doing more things that are good for me, like my own sort of me time. Obviously I love martial arts, and sparring is like one thing that I go into that zone of just peace. Like I'm just training, working really hard, and that's when you kind of get the endorphins going as well, and then you kind of think about things in different ways. But yeah, other than that, I think just times where like I'm sort of driving or just doing these mundane tasks. I think when you're doing these things that are subconscious, that you don't think about, like my mind just kind of goes off and starts thinking about loads of different things, and then just kind of like start thinking about how he was and could have been better, and just kind of asking yourself questions really.
Was that by listening to lots of self-help models and so on?
Definitely.
Can you remember the moment that pushed you down the path of listening into constant wisdom being ingrained in?
I don't know. To be fair, like I say, with martial arts, when we were being a kid, it's all about positivity, getting your black belt, resilience. Like every black belt trainer was like, "Come on, keep going! Like don't give up. Your goal's there." And
so it really was the martial arts.
Yeah, it's just ingrained into me. And sometimes I felt like a bit of an outsider at school because I was all this positive person. And, you can achieve things like a black belt. Yes, and then you kind of think, oh, is it true, or they're just saying it? And then as I've got older and got to know my old instructors now and like talk to his mates, they kind of still live in those values, and obviously I'm teaching them as well. So it is true, and seeing what they've achieved in their life is kind of true as well. See, it does work. I'm
just glad there are these peers around that believe in it so strongly. And especially, I was saying to you before this podcast, Ripley in particular was always, when I was at school, one of them places everyone was like, nothing goes on in Ripley, there's never nothing to do.
Yeah.
But I'm really starting to notice these young people coming through, putting forward aspiration and putting forward inspiration to others and saying, hey, if there's not the scene, we're going to make it. We're actually going to develop something for you all to do. And self-belief, finding self-awareness, all these attitudes and ideas are coming out. So the younger people, and hopefully just the people of the community, are coming together and going, well, what do I want to do? What makes me happy? What makes me burn up? What makes me thrilled? So I'm really excited at the minute to see the changes that are happening, and seeing your gym where it is, it's humongous. You know, we've got this place, the farm's a fairly big place, we've got the buses, Gym Fit I can think of, there's places opening up, or Gym Fit's been there a while, but it looks exciting now. Ripley genuinely looks like a place of things going on. And I'm buzzing to see next 5 years, next 10 years. My Ella's going to be 5 to 10 years old at that point, so she's going to be there doing it. Could you do something down here, do you think, then? Would you be able to bring a few of them exercises, mentoring skills and stuff like that? Because some of the kids, we've had brilliant turnarounds, amazing moments, and the creativity, the beatboxing and all that. I'd love to have you down to come and give them a little bit of that. And then hopefully it'll take them down into your place.
That would be amazing. There's a good exercise where they kind of get a board.
Cool.
And they write down there's a couple of ways you can do it. Like sometimes you can write down a goal and you're going to break through the board, and it's like a bit of a visualization of I can do this. Or writing down your pains, things that will upset you and stuff like that. And then again, you're going to break through that board where you can you know what, I'm better than that pain, or I'm not. That feeling is only temporary. I don't have to feel this. I am in control of my own feelings, and it's just giving I think it's just guiding kids, isn't it? Really, with their mind, and with social media, there's so much going off, and they can see pictures of Lamborghinis and naked women on there all the time, and it can be really hard for them to think, well, what do I actually want? How am I supposed to be? I feel like everyone's always watching me with Snapchat, all these little things. Everyone's got a camera now. If I do something wrong, they might film me. And it can be really hard. And obviously I listen to some of the kids that come into our place about school now, and it's just so different to
TikTok.
But we was I
tell you what, dude,
it's crazy. I go to primary schools, and everyone's got a phone. Better than me. I'm what's going on? It's just crazy.
That seems like a strange platform, TikTok.
I
don't know if you saw, I was employed to film a famous TikToker. Did you see any of that?
I didn't see that, no.
But again, I've been on Facebook for 10 years, let's say. Instagram, probably a similar amount of time. I've never had much hatred or problem on there. I did one video, which the briefing was make it tacky, make it look as rubbishy, but exciting still, but just put crazy stuff on there. I did that. Put it on TikTok for him. He's got 1 million and something followers. That all your kids would know him. No names.
But reveal the name.
Footballer.
Okay.
But again, I created this video for them. I think somebody just filmed that I was filming, and within an hour of this training session, we had about 200 kids coming down just to get a little glimpse of it. I looked on TikTok to see how it had gone down. The amount of hatred, it was saying but the worst things imaginable, and this sort of age range, I was looking down just out of interest, must have been at 10, 11, 12, 13. Maybe the idiots, we've got people our age saying stupid stuff, and you're like, what are you doing, you donut? But for all those young people to be caught up in that, and this sort of bullying campaign, I suppose is the way I saw it, I hung up my hat quite quick. I was like, I don't think I want to be involved in that too much. I went and give a few filming sessions, but the second I saw, every time I put something up, it was just really ill received. I thought, I don't feel a comfortable part of my nature in this.
That's good that you sort of saw that self-awareness.
It's a self-awareness to a degree, but then you think, I need to protect this person because they don't seem in a healthy position or healthy space. Everything's just for creating on this content creator as much as you can. And if you're not thinking about the quality of it and the passion in it, the care about it, all those things, and you're just creating for creating's sake, it can get very dangerous, I think. And that seems to be where people get lost at the minute. I've seen it in all walks of life, in music, in film, in sport. Just be seen. So I think definitely helping young people maneuver, navigate themselves in, because it's not going. It's here now. But how to maneuver within it and keep your sanity, keep your healthiness about you. That's got to be sort of new lessons coming through, isn't it?
I think luckily some more sort of bigger profiles are starting to kind of be a bit more authentic and raw with it, saying you know, like even for like myself, like you might see like the dojo at the front and like busy classes, but you don't see, you know, taking the big loan out and, you know, making sure we can make it all work, and the stresses and the hardships from it. People might think, oh, that's really good, like really easy, but like it's the complete opposite. So I think more people are being a bit more open on social media, which is good for everybody, because then you can think, actually, yeah, nobody's got this perfect life that we seem like on social media.
Yeah.
Which is good to have that sort of highlight reel, and, you know, you want to put your best pictures on, you want to look your best, which is fine, but I think it's, don't kind of live a life
compare
that you are on Instagram, like live your own life still, but then just kind of, you know, put all your best kind of things on there if you want to, but then don't kind of live your life for that. Do you know what I mean? Oh, we need to go to the shop so I can take a picture, so I can, you know what I mean? You're kind of doing things for your audience and not for yourself.
I've been there.
So it's, yeah, but I'm glad like more people are kind of coming out a bit now and being a bit more, especially with me, like I follow a lot of business people, and it can be very easy for me to think like, oh, they've got it so easy, like, you know, they've got the sick house, like nice car, and then some of them will be like, you know, there was times where we literally had like £2 in the bank, and we had to eat like tomato soup for a lunch for the family, because I risked everything. And it's stuff like that you don't see. You think, actually, yeah, like no wonder they've got the house and stuff, because they've just risked so much, so they deserve it, and they're not just born into wealth or something. So
I tell you what, the best thing I've ever found is Post and Ghost.
Yeah.
Honestly, I used Creator Studio, but it's on Instagram and Facebook, because Facebook own Instagram.
Yeah.
And you can just schedule your whole month if you wanted to. And that's what people always come to me, and they're like, Mikey, why are you so busy all the time on social media? I'm like, I do it on a Sunday. It's all done on a Sunday. It's splashed out for the week and whatever. And not sometimes the month, I'll literally do a whole month of scheduling, but I don't have to be there at all. And then I just keep clocking in, seeing if I've missed any business calls or meetings or anything like that. And it really is taken away so much pain. And I was really on there a lot of the time, just comparing, seeing what the next business was doing on a similar call, whatever it was. I'm very empathetic empathic of it all. I've been there, so I can totally understand where people get to, but you do have to come back to that self-awareness and go, oh, that made me feel a bit sick. I'm going to turn that all round. So definitely think about scheduling and so on. You got to get somewhere soon, so I just want to know, what is next for you? What's happening in the coming weeks to months to years to death?
So we're trying to grow our school to 200 members. That's kind of our next goal. Just kind of take on more staff, give more instructors a chance to coach, take on more leaders, grow the business, grow the school. A lot of my focus is on that at the minute. That's the main focus. To be fair, I'm quite sort of, I'm terrible at kind of thinking, I want to do this next, I want to do that. Whereas I'm just really focused on the growing the school over the next kind of year to get it to where we want to be, and then from there, I don't know whether we'll kind of create another location somewhere,
monopolize.
Just kind of have different locations in places, or just kind of stick it to that one. Do it so it's kind of, I've removed myself a bit away from it, and I kind of just do the classes that I want to teach, and kind of let it run sort of without me if I'm not there. That's kind of a goal of mine. And then there's plenty of other businesses that I kind of want to do. Definitely want to have like our own, me and Silver want to have like our own cafe or our own restaurant. That's something we want to do. And a few
under
other
the
things.
same bracket.
No, just something totally different. Just
me and Chrissy have always said that.
Yeah.
We'll do it all together.
There's something like, obviously martial arts is kind of my passion. It's something that I love, but there's other things that I want to just have a go with. And now I've done this, I just kind of think like, let's just give it a go. Let's give a restaurant a go. If it don't work, it don't work. Like,
mate, this is brilliant.
If then there's like, just other things really. Just think.
Do you think we're just program weird?
Potentially, yeah, I reckon, probably. It's weird though, isn't it? Because like for me, a good, like, it sounds a bit weird, but a good driver for me is like death, which sounds really strange. But I know, like, you can't guarantee you're going to be alive tomorrow. You just don't know, do you? Like, you could think like, 99%, or you can't guarantee you're going to be alive next week. So then you think, well, if we've only got a certain amount of time on this planet, surely you're just going to try and do as much things as possible. Yeah. Seems so simple, right? Said like that, but then people overcomplicate and think, but I might do this, and they just go into this comfort zone. Before you know it, you've not really achieved much in your life, because life is a risk. Right? You don't get out alive, do you? Everyone's going to die. So the biggest risk is being born, is it not? So then you think, well, you're just waiting to sort of die, really, which sounds really negative, but I kind of use it as a positive driver and think, yeah, let's just get it done. Like, why would you wait when you could die next week? Like, let's just do it. So sometimes I need to slow down, which Sylvia will tell me. But there's certain things that I just think, well, yeah, why? What are we waiting for? Like,
completely.
you know
I think people do. They complicate it all the time. Simplicity is key.
Nobody
it
wants
really
to
is.
die anyway, do they? Always like think, oh, I don't want to die. I'm preserving my life as long as possible, and then don't take any risks. But then, like, the biggest risk is to not risk anything.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, getting to a certain age where you're looking back at it going, oh, what about that? I could have achieved this. Now, especially discovering something. Somebody told on this podcast before a beautiful fable, but it's a true story as well. Do you know when people get like supersonic strength?
Yeah.
Because, again, adrenaline kicks in. Apparently, this was in America, and a woman looked out a window and a truck had rolled over him, or it was rolling over him and it trapped him. And this, again, supposed to be a really true story. She ran outside and just managed to lift a truck up, like as strong as she could. But people witnessed it and saw her do it. So it's this huge talk of this town of her saving a 3-year-old son. So there would be hundreds and hundreds of reporters coming to talk to her about how she did it and what happened, and she wouldn't talk to them. And everyone was like, well, why won't you just talk your story? It's such an inspiring, incredible story. Why won't you talk it? So she just stayed at home, never said a thing. 5 or 6 years later, there was a reporter come to the door, and she went, I don't talk to reporters. He said, okay, we don't have to talk about the story. Can I just ask you one question? Why don't you talk about it? And she said, I'm 60 years old. I did something I thought was impossible. I thought I couldn't achieve anything what I did on that day. So think of all the things in the past that I've not done or not tried by not doing. And just hearing that, he goes, well, why don't you start going out there and trying it? And she did. There was one thing the reporter said to her, well, what do you like? What are some of the things in your life? And I think one was astrology, or she was really fascinated by stars and rocks as well. Yeah. And she ended her life being a famous astrologist because she went and just started putting it into that. So there's no barriers as well. You know, when that age is, I should have started here. I should have just start literally, however old you are now, wherever you are now, just start, pick up the guitar, pick up the drum, whatever it is, just go. You need to literally believe whatever you just said then. Life is now. You've got it.
Just do it.
Go for it.
There's a good quote by Rob Moore called "Start Now, Get Perfect Later." It's a name of one of his books as well, and that's kind of stuck with me a lot of the time. And you know, if I'm ever in a situation where I think I'm not ready, like what am I doing? I always go, "Start now, just get perfect later. Start now, get perfect later." And it just kind of gives me that confidence. Think, yeah, you know what? This isn't going to be amazing. Like it might not be great, but we're here now. We're going to give it a go. Whatever happens, happens. Like, and then it just kind of takes away all that stress and that peer pressure and everything. You just think, I'm just giving it a go. And like nobody can ever, like, you'll only ever get criticism when people are doing less than you. You'll never get criticised when people are doing like more than you. Yeah. So like when, you know, if someone's doing nothing, they're just gonna be like, oh, what are you doing? You shouldn't have risked that. Whereas other people, they were like, yeah, well done, that was a good risk kind of thing. And it's just surrounding yourself with those kind of people as well.
I think it is having that self-worth, because I feel a good person now. I've had to, it's taken a long time coming, man, a very long time coming to feel like I'm worth and I'm a good person. But when you get to that level where you know you're good at heart, then when you try stuff, even if it doesn't happen, it doesn't come to fruition, you're like, well, I've really give it a go. I've really tried. Say getting on a stage guitar, I played and I thought, oh, I've absolutely messed up here, but I don't beat myself up anymore the way that I used to, because I think I've dared get on the stage though. I've actually got up. It didn't sound right, but again, that means I need to go away, try again, deliver later, if you enjoy it, that is. Do you know what I mean? It's that beating up process. I know so many people that literally freeze up. They go, I'm not getting up there, I'm not getting up there. Why? Because the aftermath of getting off that stage is so much more painful about, I'm an idiot, I should never do this. And it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy if you don't like yourself. So learn to love yourself, and then you'll dare start trying things as well.
Yeah.
It's been a good podcast,
Yeah,
hasn't it?
yeah,
We've fit
no,
a lot
brilliant. I
into
feel like we've just talked forever, couldn't we?
an hour 15. But
No,
honestly,
it's
I
brilliant.
think Benefit Martial Arts should do the podcast. And
Yeah.
like every time you come on here and you say you're going to do stuff, it actually happens. So
Yes.
put all these into
Yeah,
action.
yeah,
But
definitely.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited to see where you're going, man. And I see some good collaborations going.
Yeah.
Do you see any? You've got a big space basically.
Yeah.
Down the line, do you see other collaborations going on at your space? Maybe more boxing or other sort of sports and stuff
potentially,
like that.
Yoga might be one that we
That's a good shout.
get in there. Yeah. We just I know there's other martial arts school of like wanting to use the space.
Brilliant.
So it's just like good, and then just other like karate parties and stuff like that we do.
Karate parties,
Yeah.
wow.
So we do those now. Which it's just good to use that space for lots of different things, and it's the possibilities are endless.
Dude, let everybody know to this camera here where can they find out everything about you, what you're up to, and what's next.
Yeah, Benefit Martial Arts and Fitness. We're on Instagram, Facebook. Got our website, benefitmartialarts.co.uk, where you can just fill out your details, book in for a 2-week free trial, pop down, see the place, have a chat, whatever you want to do.
You've done that before. Smashed it. Thank you so much, brother.
No, it's been amazing. Thank you.
Guys, you've been a part of the Old Farm Bus, Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. I'm going to leave you on this, I always do. Just be nice to one another, you beautiful set of buggers. Have a good day. Cheers.